Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of McDonald County 411. I'm here today at Heroes Ranch with the Sheepdog Impact Assistance Organization, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you their title and what they do here.
I am Christina LePage. I am the Heroes Ranch Director.
And I am Rafael Morales, and I am the Warrior Path Director as well as the manager here at Heroes Ranch.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting me come and hang today. Why don't we just kick it off and tell the folks a little bit about what it is you guys do and what your mission is.
So, Sheepdog Impact Assistance, we're a 16-year-old organization. We have veterans and first responders across the nation. However, it is that we find them a lot of times they're struggling. They're struggling. So we're a get off the couch organization.
Yeah, what you're doing right now is called Get Off the Couch. And I love that. So how'd you guys come up with that? Get off the couch.
The CEO and founder, Sergeant Major Lance Nutt, really started the organization based on he was losing more soldiers at home than he was in battle. So a lot of our heroes sit on the couch, and that's where they really get in their own head. And the dark thoughts start gathering. Everything we do is about getting them off the couch and getting them back with like-minded people, the camaraderie that they've lost, whether they've gotten out of the military or they're sitting at home thinking they have no one to talk to.
Yes.
We get them back with their people. And that's really what we are, is their people.
I love that. I thank you for describing that, because that paints a very specific picture of somebody suffering. I wanted to talk about your gala that you just had, because it was just this past weekend. And you had some very impressive guest speakers. Tell me a little bit about that.
So this weekend was Dean Cain, who obviously everyone loves, Superman. And then Rob O'Neill, who was with SEAL Team 6 that took out Bin Laden.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's awesome. What was it like hearing him talk?
It's great, with this community. So he had a room full of military and first responders to really share his message with. And so it was great having that, a speaker like that.
What are some of the things that you have to offer?
So Sergeant really wants the ranch to be utilized 365 days a year. This is his dream, is to have this and offer the programs we do here. So we originally started on disaster response missions. So we will send teams out to help with natural disasters cleanup. And that turned into, we also started the outdoor adventure program, because he could see how getting these people off the couch was really helping them. So our outdoor adventure program started, and then 2020 is when he purchased the ranch here, and that was with the sole purpose of having this to offer the Warrior Path program here. And so we do the outdoor adventures here, which is razor riding, hiking, take on fishing, kayaking on the elk. So there's a lot of things that we do to just really engage them, and then sort of show them what Warrior Path is really about. Just give them a little taste of it. A lot of our veterans and first responders think that they're fine. They don't need any help. And this is to show them this program is different. This program is not just cry on my shoulder and just get it out. This is really to help you change your habits and teach you the different tools you need to really change your life. And that's what this ranch is about. It's not about, just sitting around crying on each other. This is the equine program, was something that was always part of Warrior Path, but we were traveling to get there. And so Sergeant Major knew he would always have to have eventually equine here, but it's equine connection program. And Rafi can really tell you the science behind that, being his program.
Tell me a little bit about how, first of all, how did you personally get involved with this program? What was your journey there?
So with Sheepdog itself, I've been with Sheepdog for about 13 years now. So I came across them one night. Just I was on the couch. I was really struggling, both mentally and physically. Just going through a lot in my head, and outside of my my law enforcement career. The camaraderie is what I missed the most, So sitting at the house one day, scrolling through Facebook, I found Sheepdog Impact Assistance. It was just a Facebook post that Lance had posted.
So that really resonates with you too, that campaign that you guys started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I reached out to him. I became the team lead for Florida, which I led till up until about 4 years ago. In that process, I found out about the Warrior Path. And just like everyone that I talked to, that, we talking about Warrior Path and, turning PTS into PTG, with this, the post-traumatic growth. 90% of the warriors are going to say, give it to someone else. I don't need it. Someone else deserves it more than me. Exact same thing I said, but let's get talking about it. So I signed up, I joined, and I went to Maine, the Travis Mills Foundation, for my Warrior Path experience. And it just radically changed my life. It just absolutely changed my life.
Did you ever leave, or were you just like, here I am?
No, so I was living in Florida when I went through the program, and it made such an impact, for me and for my kids and with my wife, that I just got more involved. I started off as a path guy and just kind of worked my way up into a position where once the previous director left, I was able to fill his shoes, and here we are all these years later.
What a wonderful story. So you have a very personal connection. That's wonderful. So can you talk a little bit about how a person would privately go about seeking help through your organization?
Yeah, so I would say through our website, sheepdogvalley.org. All of our programs are there. Everything from just like Christine was talking about, our outdoor adventures, disaster response missions, and our Warrior Path program. You can go on to read all about it, watch the videos, and if you want to attend, just click join. And you can apply right through our portal. The information, all of it is 100% protected. So it's not shared with anybody. Everything is in-house.
sheepdogvalley.org. Okay. And how many applicants are able to be accommodated every year?
So far, we average about 12 students per class. We're doing 17 classes this year. So it's about 166 students. So we're running 1 to 2 classes a month.
It's a lot that are affected every year. So that's great.
So once they apply, we can engage them almost immediately. And that engagement is the entire time that they are within the program. So however long it takes them to come into the program, we're communicating with them on a weekly basis. Once they come to the program, it's 5 days in-house. So we have, it's about 85 hours of training. It's not coddling. It's not therapy. It's literally warriors helping warriors.
Yeah.
But that's why we don't report to anybody. We don't report to the VA. We don't have anyone to report to. We talk to one another.
Sure.
And that's why it's so successful. That trusted connection and that camaraderie is what really helps. So they're here for the 7 days, or for the 5 days. Now it used to be a 7-day program. For the 5 days, we teach them 31 different warrior wellness practices that allow them to metabolize stress, reconnect the head and the heart, become congruent. So your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are aligned with things. All that to say that we just want them to feel again, and re-engage in that team. So we bring in 12 strangers, and by the end of the 5 days, they're just best of friends. We're family. And then the remaining 85 days, we connect with them on a daily basis. So we're constantly connecting with them through our very own app. We have the MyPath app. And within that program, every day, a new video opens, a new set of questions opens, and their lead guide connects with them constantly.
I think the important part that makes our program so successful is how we come about our guides. The guides in the program are all veterans and first responders themselves that went through the Warrior Path program for their own needs. Okay. And then they come in for training to become a guide. So they have to go through training. So that really is what resonates with the program, is that it's not someone that went to school for 8 years and they have a lot of COVID experience, but no combat experience, no straight experience of what these people have actually seen and dealt with, and which is a very common complaint. If you hear the VA, it's these people have no idea what they're talking about. They've never been shot at. They've never seen what we've seen. So how can they help? So this program is different. These people are here because it's saved their lives, their marriages, things like that. And they went through the additional training to come back. And if you always take advice better, I feel like, from someone who has walked in your shoes or someone who has dealt with the hardships that you've dealt with. Tell the people a little bit about how they can get involved if they want. So let's start with Poker Run. Okay, being a nonprofit, we rely heavily on people sponsoring our fundraisers. So I'm always looking for someone that wants to sponsor to help out just getting the program going. And then we always look for silent auction items, and it doesn't have to be a huge item. And, it can be a basket first option. It can be at the gala we've had a weekend getaway. Somebody did their cabin for the weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's in our world, there's nothing too little or too big. We will utilize it somehow. But we probably will start. Last year we started Indian motorcycle, and then we end it here. So start in town and here, and then we try to switch up around a little bit just to include our McDonald County, some of Rogers, things like that to make it interesting for everyone that's on the poker run. Once I get all the planning in place, you will be able to register online in advance if you want. And then we will take some people the day of. Last year was my first year. I had t-shirts, so I can't guarantee you a t-shirt if you're here the day of.
Yeah.
But
we'll keep you guys updated on all that as it gets closer. And then you have another event.
So what I'm doing now is I've never done it before, but I'm excited to try and host a golf tournament.
Yeah.
So again, we're nonprofit, so we're always trying to raise our own, finances. Every student that comes through Warrior Path costs $7,000.
Wow.
But we raise the finances, and everything that we do across the board in the organization is free for our veterans and first responders. I'm gonna take my shot at hosting a golf tournament in the very beginning stages of it. So that's what's coming up.
So we'll keep you guys looped in too, because I know McDonald County's big golf community, and a lot of golfers out there in that county. And so we'll keep you guys updated on that. Is there any areas of need that you guys have that you're trying to fill locally, that if somebody is hearing this and it resonates with them, tell the people a little bit about that, how to get involved, how can they help?
I think the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Sedimenter started the organization in Rogers, but we are a nationwide organization now. We do fly people from wherever they are to Northwest Arkansas to participate in this program. So we brought them from Hawaii, all over Florida to Hawaii and everywhere in between. And we even pay for the plane ticket. So we, that's why we say it's free to them to get down here. A lot of things we do also is with the livestock, we have to be part of the program. Is we do have livestock sponsorship program on our website as well.
Okay.
We've had amazing donors in the past give us hay for the livestock as well. We have local businesses that help us out with repair of our side-by-sides that we need to take into Rush Springs ATV Park, where we do our razor riding.
Nice.
And our outdoor adventure program.
These are all good ideas of
Yes.
things that local people can help. And there will be people that want to help. There are people that will help, especially for this cause.
It's very difficult. And I think throughout the years, as technology has advanced and, all eyes are on our law enforcement and our military, that's what makes it so hard for anyone in that arena to ask for help, because all eyes are on them, so the last thing as a police officer or as someone in the military, the last thing we want to do is ask for help because we're afraid to. In law enforcement, I did 13 years in law enforcement. The last thing I was going to do is tell my sergeant that last call really messed with me, because the next step is I want to take your bags and you're done, and you're going to go see a psychiatrist, right?
Right.
So as bad as things are all around us, our focus is on the individual sheepdog, the one that responded to that call, that shots fired, or the one that's just getting back from deployment. A lot of times when you talk about veterans and first responders and, the 22 a day, that's what we're dealing with, right? People look on the outside and say, well, there's nothing wrong with him, but there's nothing wrong with her. But it's the scars that they don't see. That's what we're dealing with. It's everything that is internalized. So knowing that our world and that our society right now, kind of vitalized our nation's heroes, it's harder on them, because they don't want to talk about it. And, and your heart gets harder to it, as a police officer responding to a call, you're dealing with someone on their absolute worst day. But what society doesn't see is that I've got 10 calls behind my back, 15 calls that are holding, and I'm still trying to deal with what's going on now. So that's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And then when you go home, you don't want to talk to your family. You don't want to tell them all the horrible things you have seen.
Right.
So we bottle it up, and that's why this organization exists, to help those veterans and first responders get off the couch, re-engage, assist, empower.
And have a safe place to ask.
Absolutely.
I think that you nailed it when you talked about how it is hidden because you don't want it held against you. So I think safe reporting in any industry is so crucial. And you guys are really making that happen.
And that's what this ranch is all about. We talk about our home office, but Heroes Ranch, here in McDonald County, it's just, fantastic. Everyone that comes here, they feel a sense of home. They feel a sense of peace, and we talk about the history of this property. We talk about the history of this entire area, where they can come in and let their burdens down because this ground can take it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. I appreciate you allowing me the privilege to even come and be here. I feel very special. And for you guys, stay tuned for more information about the organization. And we will see you guys next week for another episode of McDonald County 411. Thanks, guys.